What's going on, guys? It is your boy Mason of Delphino here today, and you know what? I just wanted to talk a lot about Zelda Breath of the Wild coming out here very soon. This is a monster of a game, guys. This is coming on March 3rd, or launching with the Nintendo Switch, and I could not be more excited. And you know, we just gotta talk about a few things because, oh my goodness. Okay. To start out, you know, this trailer we saw January 12th, we had a new trailer at the very end of the Nintendo Switch presentation for Zelda Breath of the Wild. And you know, I feel like everybody saw it coming at the very end because that's usually what Nintendo does. They usually pull that thing where, you know, if they have something super important to talk about, they usually hold that off till the very end. Sakurai did that once with the Smash Bros presentation, revealed Greninja after all the news was done and all that. And that's just kind of a thing that, you know, Nintendo likes to tease us that way. And that's no exception with this also, because at the Nintendo Switch presentation, they showed, what did they show? They had Mario Odyssey, Splatoon 2, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, ARMS, all that stuff. And you know, Breath of the Wild was nowhere to be seen until the very end, where they where they kind of talked about how it was a launch title, you know, and that blew everybody's minds. But you know, this is something that so many people are hyped for, okay? And it blows my mind just how much effort is being put into this game. We first learned of its existence in 2014 at E3, where they showed Legend of Zelda for Wii U, working title, you know, at the time. And it was where Link was riding through the village with Epona, or what seemed to be Epona, and then he got attacked by a guardian. You know, it was such an intense trailer, and it was only 45 seconds, but everybody's minds were blown. And I was no exception. I was like, oh my goodness. See, I got into The Legend of Zelda when I was about maybe 15 or 16. And it's just crazy to think how far it's progressed even since then. My first Zelda game was Wind Waker, and I'm getting pretty close to beating that. But I played A Link Between Worlds, I beat that. You know, there's just a few other Zelda games that I've come to really love and adore. Twilight Princess is really good too, and I'm just, you know, all of it is just shaping up to be a mixture of every Zelda game ever, pretty much, in Breath of the Wild. That's what I love so much about this game, guys. Like, it looks like a mixture of everything. It looks like the style of Wind Waker and like Skyward Sword maybe mixed, and I don't know where it goes on the timeline. I don't know what happened. I don't even know. I'm just hyped. And they said it was coming in 2015, but in 2015 they said it was coming in 2016. In 2016 they said actually E3 is going to be dedicated to Zelda, and that's launching next year with the Nintendo Switch. In 2017, so a 3-year gap in between that, let alone when they started working on the game probably 3, 4, or 5 years ago even. I don't even know. Like, obviously game development takes a lot of time, but this game, like I said, is a monster. You know, I mean, this game, the map, that's one thing everybody's been talking about, is how this game is practically, they said, 12 times the size of The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess's map. And if you played Twilight Princess, you know that game itself is a decent size, but picture 12 times that world. Literally, just, it's 12 times bigger than that game. And everything you see, as far as you can, the distance to the edge of the earth that you can see in that game is able to be explored. Is that not such a cool thing, or what? There's literally no barrier until what? Probably hit water. And I don't even know, whatever the outside border of all the land is, but it's crazy to me how consistent the worlds flow together, and how just it looks like such a unique game. It's different, it's innovative, and Zelda hasn't been doing that for a long time. Usually it's been remakes or Triforce Heroes. That was something a little interesting, but it didn't catch anybody's attention like Breath of the Wild did, you know, obviously. This is a game people have been waiting for absolutely forever, you know, Legend of Zelda for Wii U, when are they getting it? And finally, once they dropped that trailer, everybody's socks were just blown off of their feet, you know? Like, Zelda reached through the screen, pulled their socks off, and threw them away. That's just basically what happened. And it's crazy to me to see the response. Everybody was so happy when they saw the trailer, when they saw even just the debut of it. It just has such a positive, like, feedback. And that's great. People are just so happy about it, and that makes me happy because, you know, maybe they're gonna sell some Switches out of that. And I know they have it on Wii U also, but Switch is the superior version, of course. But one thing I wanted to mention, it took me long enough to get to this point, about this game is voice acting. Now, recently Nintendo said that in every single cutscene in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, there's going to be voice acting. Can we just take a minute to realize how amazing that is going to be? Now, I know Nintendo isn't mostly known for having voice acting in their games. Like, their IPs are not very communicative, if that makes sense. You have Mario, the silent plumber, and you have like Fire Emblem. They talk a little bit in that franchise, and then Kid Icarus, they really went in depth with Uprising, where they had so many scripts. It was obviously all voice acted, which they did an amazing job with. But Nintendo's not really known to do that though. And when they do, it's always a good time. And to think that they're changing that, they're changing the formula a little bit for Zelda, and like just the franchise as a whole, and adding that in, that makes me so happy. Because for me, a game is not about, obviously it is about fun, but it adds to it. I'd rather listen to people express their emotions through words than read their interpretations and like make it up for yourself, if that makes any sense. Like in Twilight Princess, you're reading what every character is saying, and you have to kind of feel what they feel for them, because they can't talk, they can't express themselves enough to be able to see other than facial expressions. And that's one thing that I really like about Zelda games, is how, even without like voice acting and stuff, up until this point, you can still see the emotion in their eyes and how they move and how they act and how they just interact with one another, and that's such a fantastic thing to see. But to think that it's gonna be in Breath of the Wild, to think every single cutscene is going to have voice acting, makes me one extremely happy camper, okay? Like, you have no idea. Like, it's just so captivating to hear characters talk. And they said, and I think it was an interview with somebody, I think it was Onuma, or it was Miyamoto, or somebody like that, said that The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, the story will make you cry. And in all honesty, I've never ever cried in a video game. I cried when the iCarly show ended a few years ago, but not in a video game. And I think this is going to be the game to make that happen, And it just looks so deep, it looks so dark in a way. And like just the trailer where Zelda is like crying and she falls into Link's arms, and like she's in harm's way, of course, because it's a Zelda game. Why would she not be? And it's gonna be so captivating. I'm so excited to play it, and it's just gonna be great. Really, the story is gonna be amazing. I want to know what happened 100 years ago, and I want to know what all Zelda worked for that it got ruined. Like they talked about that all in the trailer. Link, open your eyes, and all this stuff. It has voice acting, guys. That's a big deal. That's a big deal for Nintendo, and especially because this is one of their biggest games in the last decade. Like in terms of hype and like size, of course, this is probably their biggest project they have ever worked on. And I think they're putting so much effort and work into it to make it the best that it can be is truly an astounding thing. Another thing I wanted to talk about is HD Rumble. If you don't know what HD Rumble is, it's basically like for each Joy-Con, you're able to feel the game practically. Like if you have water going into a glass with ice in it, you can feel that in the Joy-Con. And that's something that's kind of new tech that Nintendo's created, I guess. And it's crazy because I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know if it's going to work, but apparently, according to press and stuff, it is the real deal. And to think like Dragon Quest is doing this thing where like if you do something with slime or something, it has this really gooey feel to the Joy-Con. I'm like, how does that even work? That blows my mind. But, I feel like that would have been very applicable in Breath of the Wild. But they just recently confirmed that it is not going to have it. And that's one thing I wanted to touch on today, because this game could benefit so much from that. Link riding Epona, have the Joy-Cons feel like horse fur. I don't even know how it works, but that's assuming, whatever. If Link is getting closer to like fire or something, have the Joy-Cons feel like they're heating up. Or if he's in ice in like a mountain or something, if he's trudging through the snow, make it feel cold. I don't know how the Joy-Con is supposed to do that. Like the HD Rumble thing, if that is what they're trying to make it out to be, then oh my goodness, sign me up, guys. Like literally, I will fly to LA right now, wherever Nintendo is, Seattle, LA, wherever. I'm gonna fly out there and sign that contract, because that would be the best, really. And it just makes me happy. Like it would be cool to feel the water as Link swims through it, or just like feel snowflakes as he's in the mountains. I don't even know. It's just like if you get struck by lightning, if that was a thing, you feel the jolt in the Joy-Cons, and it's just such an innovative thing. The Joy-Cons are going to be really cool, I think, if they turn out how people say they are, and that's a really great thing because we've been wanting a game like this for so long now, and I think this is finally the one that's going to be the game. I feel like this is a very big contender for either my greatest game of all time, my favorite, or, you know, my favorite Zelda game by far, definitely. I feel like that's going to be a no questioner. This game is just looking very, very good, and I'm super excited to see what happens with it, and I want to know your opinions. What do you think about it not having the HD Rumble feature packed into the game? Are you getting it on the Wii U? Are you getting it on the Switch? If so, what special editions are you getting? Any of them at all? You know, let me know those things down below in the comments. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I will talk to you next time.